Back in the library for Tape Don't Lie. We got Max Browne, college football analyst, former USC, former Pitt quarterback. Max, how you doing?
Doing great, Mike. Thanks.
Yeah, we're looking at Miami taking on Clemson, and for Miami to pull off this massive upset, maybe the biggest win that we've seen for this program in a long time. The key is going to be combining chunk plays with sustaining drives. So let's look at those chunk plays, explosive plays, what we called them on the defensive side of the ball, and look at how dangerous Brevin Jordan is.
Without a doubt, Miami's always had the potential to be explosive. It just feels like in this year, in 2020, it's kind of piecing together. The D'Eriq King experiment is working so far, and why this play works right here, you mentioned it, Brevin Jordan, the skill at the tight end position that Miami has. They can formation you. They can move those guys around. There's a miscommunication on Louisville's back end. No one runs with Jordan down the seam. Might be a little confused. Why is it a full-fledged tight end in the slot? We're not used to seeing that, but that's what Miami can do with the different formations and personnels, and the fact that they basically have two running backs back there with D'Eriq King behind center. The potential for big plays has always been present with Miami, but they're executing it on this year, which is a great sign for the Hurricanes.
Well, you mentioned they have two run potentials in the backfield with D'Eriq King, and I love this little half roll, but that little roll is enough to force these safeties up, and they're not looking behind them, so you can get things behind, so you can get the ball over top.
When D'Eriq King's your quarterback, or your quarterback's dual threat at all, the safeties have to creep up. The safeties are part of run game. They have responsibility to fill lanes and fill gaps. And we watch this play, the safeties start only at eight yards behind line of scrimmage. That's a recipe for getting behind the defense in a hurry. That's exactly what we see right here with Miami. The big play potential, we saw it first with the tight end position, now the receiver position. It's a result of the run threat that Miami has first and foremost.
Yeah, and this is another one. I call this a run action fake because it's the quarterback doing his own play action run fake by himself. He doesn't need a running back to fake hand it off to. It's him. He dives in, he stands up, and now you got a mismatch and honestly a coverage bust on Knighton.
It's a coverage bust, and this is on the defense, but once again, it's a byproduct of what Miami can give you. This is an absolute nightmare. I mean, I can't even imagine being the defensive end here and the linebacker. Someone's got to take the running back in man, and someone's got to set the edge. They're both so worried of not getting gashed in the run game. They both set the edge. No one goes with a simple man swing route by the running back. It's a big play, and all those throws right there, it's not complex, but it's a result of the pressure Miami can put on you and beat you in different ways. Clemson's a different breed, don't get me wrong, but I would expect that same pressure to be put on Clemson, and they're going to have to answer.
Well, I think this is where you talk about them putting pressure on Clemson. Let's put pressure on Miami because you have to extend those drives. Every play, you're not going to have chunk plays every single drive, but what you cannot have are 45-second 3-and-outs because that gives the ball back to Trevor Lawrence, and then your defense will be exhausted. How critical are plays like this with Cameron Harris to pick up 4th and 1, to convert 3rd and 3, all those little things that keep drives going?
Yeah, that was the mold on Monday Night Football is with Patrick Mahomes and a lethal offense, just keep him off the field. How do you keep him off the field? You convert long drives, you convert 3rd and shorts, and you stay on schedule. And that's one thing with Miami, with this run of attack. If you're staying at 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, or 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, you're always going to have a recipe for success. And right there, they're trying to get pressure, Florida State is, but when you just run and stick to your gaps and beat and win your man-on-man matchups, that's a great sign for Miami.
Yeah, and again, listen, we got this, trying to make sure you get a first down. Sometimes those plays bust open because they're in that short yardage package and everybody's hugged up to the line of scrimmage. One thing fails and you got an opportunity to make a big play. But I think it's critical. You look at Virginia, and Virginia, obviously the score wasn't as close as the game was. Even talking to Clemson fans, they were a little nervous because the game, it never felt like Clemson opened it all the way up. But it was because Virginia had 5 drives of 10 plays or more. Miami on the season, I believe, has 6 drives of 10 plays or more. That's the whole season versus one game from Virginia. So I think they've got to take away some of that methodical approach from Bronco Mendenhall to keep Clemson off the field so they never feel like they get into a rhythm and they get going.
Yeah, with a lot of these plays we're seeing, it's a lack of discipline on the defensive side. Credit Miami, but right there we're seeing a run gap where 2 defenders are in the A gap. Under all the COVID craziness and limited practices and sometimes tough to kind of manage a roster, how disciplined is your defense? Kind of the first maybe big time test, especially with this running game. Clemson's battle tested. Don't get me wrong. There's a reason they're there pretty much the past 5 years at the top, setting the standard. But it'll be an interesting test of whether they can say gap aligned, which is the name of the game for fundamentally sound defensive football.